the order from the Supreme Court coming in on the migrants issue. The Supreme Court has said migrant workers should be identified and registered and sent home within 15 days. The government should set up counseling for migrant workers. States should inform the migrants the schemes that are available to them post-lockdown. All schemes must be informed to the migrants. In another very, very important observation, in fact, part of the order, the court also says all cases against migrant workers should be withdrawn. The cases that were registered against migrants while they were walking back on the road should also be withdrawn. In fact, the court will be issuing further orders on the movement of migrant workers. As we know, the migrant crisis began during the lockdown. Shortly after the lockdown, migrant workers left without shelter, without food. They started walking back towards their home states. Some even lost their jobs and were not paid for the work they had done previously, and their plight has been reported time and again. There were people who died on the road while going back home. However, the government during the hearing had said in the Supreme Court that none of the migrant workers died because they were suffering on the road. Most of them died because they had some conditions or the others. The Supreme Court had taken suo motu cognizance of the plight of the migrant workers. In fact, when the hearing was happening, the government did say that about 1 crore people, 1 crore migrant workers have been sent back to their home states. Let me go over to my colleague Vaidyanathan for more on that story. Vaidyanathan, will you tell us what more did the court say in their order?
Yeah, 3-judge bench, Supreme Court judges through video conference pronounced this order. There are a lot of points. Number one, within 15 days starting from today, all the migrant workers should be sent back home. They should be registered and the registration should be streamlined. And secondly, you might have noticed when during the lockdown, when migrants were walking, some state governments has slapped cases against them saying that they are violating. So all these cases, Supreme Court today has directed, should be completely withdrawn. And thirdly, it says there should be some scheme for the migrants when they go back to home, they should get some work. For that, the state governments as well as the union territories should find out and these schemes publicized so that the migrants can come to know what is it. And one more interesting point, they said also the migrants who have gone back home, they may be mentally disturbed also. They should be counseled by states. So counseling centers should be put up. In fact, earlier Chief Justice Bench also said the same thing when they were in shelter, some sort of counseling should be done. Same now, this 3-judge bench also passed it with orders. So within 15 days from now, all the migrant workers should be sent back home and central government should provide trains if the state government asks for them to transport it back to their homes.